Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to build something really fun and useful. A simple calculator using Python and Tkinter. With just a few lines of Python code, you can create your very own calculator app with buttons, numbers and all the basic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. By the end of this video, you will not only see the calculator in action, but you will also understand exactly how each line of code works. I will break it down so simply that even if you have never coded before, you will still follow along. First, let's see the final output. Cool, right? Now let's go step by step and understand how this code works. I am using Visual Studio Code as the coding platform. Let's open a new file and save it as a Python file. The very first thing we do is import Tkinter. Tkinter is Python's built-in library for making GUIs, which means windows, buttons, text boxes and all that good stuff. Here I imported Tkinter as TK just to shorten the name. It's an alias name. So instead of writing tkinter.button, I can just write tk.button to simplify the code. Now let's create the main window. myCalc equal tk.tk. This line creates the main window of our application and stores it in a variable called myCalc. Think of it like opening a blank canvas where we will add our calculator button, screen and logic. Let us run the code. The code has run without any errors. Still we didn't see the window, right? This is because the window has created but got automatically closed instantly. Here we need to add main loop function to keep the app running. Let me add a step here, myCalc.mainLoop. Let's run the code now. See, now the window has appeared and it will keep the app open until we close it. Tkinter is an event-driven model like most GUI frameworks. The function main loop keeps the window running. Without it, the window would just appear and disappear instantly. It's like saying keep the app open until the user closes it. This means your program just sits and waits for user action such as clicks, key presses, window resize, etc. Now let us add features for the main window. myCalc.title. Here we set the title of the window. So instead of a boring default name, it says calculator on top. Let myCalc.geometry. Let me set the size of the window to 400 pixels wide and 500 pixels tall. You can change these numbers to make it bigger or smaller. Let me show you the size of the window now. The pixel size has to be in double quotes. Otherwise, we can also change the background color of the window. For this, let me add myCalc.config. And different options are shown here. And for background color, we need to select BG. And I'm giving the color as light blue. Now the color of the window has changed. Our next step is to create an entry box where we type or display numbers. Let me add the code here, entry equal tk.entry, and as an argument we need to give the myCalc. That is our main window. Here we created an entry box in the myCalc window and assigned this into variable named entry. To display the entry box in the window, we use the command entry.pack. Let me run the code and show you. Now an entry widget has formed in the main window. Now we can specify the attributes or features of the entry box. For that, we can add font, and let me specify font as Arial and size of the font as 20. It makes the text big and easy to read. See, now the entry box has enlarged and the font is bigger now. And border, we can also provide border width. And I have given border width as 5. Now a beautiful border has appeared. And to project the border, I can give relief as ridge. Let me run the code. And here the texts are typed from the right side. But in the normal calculator, the text actually numbers are being typed from the left. For this, we can use the justify options. Justify equals right. Now see, the numbers are getting typed from the right side as in the normal calculator. And to fill the widget, entry widget to both sides, I can use entry.pack and give the option as fill equals both. And we can do padding here. Padding is for creating spaces internally and externally, vertically and horizontally we can do. And pad y means it is outside padding. iPad y is internal padding. And I have given pad y and iPad y as 20 here, and it created space both internally and externally. Finally, pack places it on the window, stretching it horizontally with some padding. Okay, now let's move on. Now let's create a button frame inside our main window, that is myCalc. MyFrame equals tk.frame myCalc. With this, a frame is created inside the main window and it is assigned to a variable myFrame. Think of a frame as a container that holds buttons in an organized way. Then myFrame.pack places the frame in the window. Now let us create the button layout. For that I am using key. And before that, let us open a normal calculator. In the normal calculator, the rows are numbers are aligned in rows such as 7, 8, 9 multiplied. Likewise, we will create the buttons here also. This is like an outline of our calculator. This is actually a list inside a list. Each inner list represents a row of buttons. First row has 7, 8, 9 divide. Second row has 4, 5, 6 multiply, and so on. At the bottom, we have clear, equals, and exit. Let us head to generate the buttons. This is done using a for loop. Let me write the code now. For I in key, I am taking each item in the list key. For time being, I haven't created list inside list. I just created only one list and I have given all the numbers in the list. I will show you the output of this configuration first and I will change the code later. tk.button creates button in the frame. I'm specifying the frame I have created earlier as my frame and text equal to I, that is the key. And b.pack places the button in the frame. And let me run the code and show you. See, now every numbers has been listed just like a column. But we need to show that calculator as rows, right? So I am creating rows here in the key. That means I am creating a list inside a list. First row, second row, third row, and so on. As you can see here, 7, 8, 9, 1 division is taken as one single button. But we want 7 as separate button, 8 as separate button, like each key has to be separate button, right? For this, we need four loops. For that, first for loop will loop through the rows. Here we loop through each row in our key layout. For each row, we create another frame to hold the row of buttons and places in the window using row_frame.pack. For getting an even alignment, we use fill equals both. Now I have placed the row_frame in our my frame. For even alignment, fill equals both. Finally, we create the button itself with the tk.button in the frame named row_frame. Sets its size, font, text, etc. As we loop through each item in the row, let's say it is this button text, we set the value to the button using text equal to button text. For the time being, I have not added any actions for the button here, as we are just creating the layout only. Then we pack it inside the row frame. While packing the button, it is important to give side equals left so that the packing starts from the left to get an even alignment. Let me run the code and show you. Now our layout is ready, just like a normal calculator. Now here buttons are created, but no command is given for the buttons. Our next step is to create the functions for the brain of the calculator. The functions has to be created for each button. I have just changed the font now, and it is it's now looking good now. And I have changed to 400 pixels to 500 pixels, and the window has now reduced. Now let's create the functions. As you can see, no action is carried out when the buttons are pressed. It is time to add the functions for the button presses. 3 functions are needed here. Insert function to add numbers or symbols to the entry box. For example, if I click button 7, this function inserts 7 at the end. Clear function clears everything in the entry box when the button C is pressed. Next function we require is evaluate function that evaluate the expression entered in the entry box. This function is invoked when the button equals is pressed. For this, we use an inbuilt function named eval. This is a very powerful function and it should be used with caution as it executes any expression fed into it. So for safety, we add safe dictionary built-ins as none. Evaluate expression is the brain of the calculator. We use eval function to calculate the expression fed into the program. Let me show you this in a separate window, how this program runs. So I have just created another Python file and I will show you how this calculator is evaluating expression that is fed into the entry box. For time being, I am directly giving the expression to my code and I will show you how it runs. And I have taken as an entry variable and I have given as input entry enter expression. Now let us define the function. For defining function, we use def. Function name, I am giving evaluate expression as the function name. Then I am storing the result into a variable result. Result equals eval. Eval is our built-in function. Entry is our input. As I said earlier, eval is a very powerful function. So for running it safely, we need to create a safe dictionary and to need to specify as built-in is equal to none, so that it won't call any built-in functions. And I am giving result equals eval safe dict entry, and I am printing result. And I am calling the function evaluate expression. And here you can see in the downside it is asking for the expression, and I am giving 2 into 3 plus 56. Some error has occurred. Okay, here it is eval. Instead of safe dict comma entry, it has to be entry comma safe dict. Let me change it. Let me run the code again, and I am providing expression as 2 into 34 plus 67. See, now we have got the result. Now let's consider a scenario where an invalid expression is given, such as 5 plus 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 or 1 by 0. For displaying such kind of errors, we may use try except combo. Let me modify the code accordingly. Here I am saving the error into a variable called error, and I am using f string for displaying the error. Let me run the code and show you. 1 by 0. Now it's showing invalid expression division by 0. This is I have shown you in a separate window to make you understand how the code works. Now let us incorporate into our main program. That is where we have created our GUI. Let me create some space after our entry widget. And here again I am declaring a safe dictionary and providing built-in equals none. Let me add a text function here first. Entry.insert will make our numbers or whatever expression we are giving in the entry widget to be inserted. Entry.insert and it will insert from the end of the entry box. tk.end, comma, text. Next function is our clear entry function. Function name is clear underscore entry. Here we use entry.delete. When this function is called, it clears everything in the entry box. Specifically, it displays 0 at the end of the Tkinter entry box. Now our evaluate expression function. Instead of providing expression directly, we will use entry.get function here for getting the entries inserted in the entry box. Entry.get takes whatever the user typed in the entry box and assign into the variable called expression. Then it uses eval function to calculate and store it in the variable called result, as I explained earlier. To display the result in the calculator GUI, we first clear the entry using entry.delete function and insert the result into the entry box using entry.insert function. For showing exceptions in a message box, we need to import message box from Tkinter. I haven't imported earlier, so let me import message box from Tkinter now. From Tkinter, import message box. Now it has enabled here. Now message box dot show error, and what error we need to show, that we need to specify here using fstring. Fstring is formatted string literal that allows you to embed expressions or variables or even function calls directly inside string by prefixing the string with f and enclosing the expression or variable in curly braces. Let me run the code. Our functions are ready. Now let us incorporate these functions into our buttons. For this, let us go back to our button generating loop. Let us create a function called command and assign each button to a variable I and open an if statement here. If the button is equals, it calls evaluate expression. If it is C, it calls clear entry function. If it is exit, it closes the program. Otherwise, it just inserts a number or symbol into the entry box using add text function. We had explained all these functions in detail earlier. Now we need to modify the button creation syntax by adding the action to be performed while clicking the button. For this, I add option command and assign the function cmt into it. Let me show you this. Command is equal to cmt. And here cmt is the function here, and I am going to define the function after the for loop of button text in row and def cmt, and I am assigning the button text to I, the variable. And I am providing the if loops, if statements here. If I equals equal, if I is equal to, then we need to call evaluate expression. Here function evaluate expression is called. Next, elif I equals C. Now we need to call clear entry function. If the button pressed is exit, then the window has to be quit. We need to quit the window. myCalc.quit. This is an inbuilt function and we are calling here. Else, the text that each button is pressed to be added into the entry box as expressions. Now we need to call function add text. With this, our calculator is fully ready, and let me run the code and show you. Some error has occurred. Okay, here add text. It is we haven't given any argument here. We haven't passed any arguments to the add text function, and that needs to be modified here. Add text I. That is, whichever button is pressed, that needs to be added, that needs to be inserted. Now our calculator is ready. Let us run and test it. Yeah, it is fully functional. And if I press exit, the calculator is getting closed. Let me add some expressions again. It is running fine. And if I click on C, it will clear the entry. And 1 by 0, okay. Some message box here. Here errors are getting shown as the title of the message box. That we need to modify. We need to give the title of the message box as error. Message box dot show error. I am giving error as the title of the message box, error message box. Now let's run. I am trying the one scenario 1 by 0. See, now error is our title of the message box, and our output is giving shown as correctly here, invalid expression and division by 0. With this, our calculator is fully ready. Here I have shown you only the simple arithmetic operations. We can enhance the calculator adding our other arithmetic functions such as exponential, logical functions and all. So I request you all to try this code and enhance your calculator using those adding those arithmetic operations as well. I will give you some hint here. For this, you need to import a math module also, and buttons also needs to be modified accordingly. I request you to go through the video and try it your own and add all these other features also. Okay, and I thank you everyone for listening to my video, and I request all your support for further progress of our channel. And I would like to bring other things also, like graphics and website creations, all this using this Python code. So I request all your support for that, and show your support in your comment sections. And if you have any queries and any doubts, and if in concerns also, you just mention in our comment box. And with this, I'm packing my video. Thank you everyone.